is the lacquer of the bag. So that is the coating along the edges of the bag as seen on the top here and along the side of the stitches. Genuine Hermes lacquer is an almost completely matte finish with a very slight satin effect. However, on this particular fake, the lacquer is very shiny, almost looks like a plastic coating, which is something to look for. Another key point that often gives away a fake Birkin is the stitching. Now, as you may know, all genuine Hermes bags are hand sewn by a single artisan from start to finish. They literally sew all the stitches with a needle and thread. So what that means is, with an Hermes piece, the stitching is not perfectly regular like you would see on a sewing machine. It's part of the charm of Hermes bags and part of what makes them so special and unique. One place we can often spot this is on the handle of the bag. The reason being is it is the hardest place to sew, the most difficult place for the artisan to hand sew that leather neatly and beautifully around the handle of the bag. A lot of the time on fake Birkins, a lot of the aspects are hand sewn to give it that slightly imperfect look of a typical Hermes Birkin, since it is a widely known fact that Hermes Birkins are hand sewn. However, there's very few artisans in the world who are as skilled as to be able to hand sew that leather on the handle perfectly into place. So often on a fake Birkin, almost the whole bag may be hand sewn. However, sometimes we can see those telltale signs of a sewing machine around the handle of a bag. If the stitches are too perfect and every single stitch is the same length and the exact same tension, it's a dead giveaway, because Hermes bags don't use a single element of machine stitching on them at all. Additionally, with the stitching, there are several places on an Hermes Birkin where double stitches are used. This is to add a little bit of extra strength on an area of the bag that receives a lot of tension and weight on it. For example, on the base of the handles on both front and back, we can see 3 double stitches at the top of that stitch there. It's always 3 that are doubled, and you can tell because they are thicker. And we also see it on the back of the sangles at the back of the bag. A lot of the time on a fake Hermes Birkin, those 3 stitches are not present, or sometimes there can be 1 double stitch or 2 double stitches, or sometimes they'll only do it on the back of the bag and not the front and back of the bag. So these are things to look for, again, when authenticating a Birkin. Another thing to look at is the foil stamp on an Hermes bag. The Hermes stamp is very neat, and initially we can tell between these 2 bags because the stamp on this bag is far too wide and the spaces between each letter is far too big. However, a lot of the time the sizing is correct on a stamp. However, with a microscope we can tell immediately. This is because Hermes has access to the most high technology and expensive machines in the world when it comes to foiling and stamping into leather. They use such fine foiling and stamping, and when you look at an Hermes stamp with a microscope, it is very neat. There is no bleeding of the gold foil around the stamp whatsoever. However, without access to these incredibly expensive machines, it's almost impossible to stamp on leather so tinily without the foil bleeding around. And if you took a microscope to pretty much any fake Birkin, you would immediately see bleeding and messiness around those crisp lines. Another thing, of course, to look at is the weight and measurements of the bag. All Hermes bags, depending on their leather and size, can vary ever so slightly in weight. After all, they're made of leather, which is an animal product, and can vary ever so slightly. However, we do have access to a database of information, and every bag that comes into Big Easter is weighed, and we store that on record. So whenever a bag comes in, if that weight falls out of line with what we expect for that size and leather, this can ring alarm bells. We also measure every element of the bag, from the sizes to the height of the handles to the width of the sangles, and if anything falls out of line, this can be a red flag. For example, on this fake bag, the handles are far too high up compared to the genuine one, which was a giveaway for this one. And another important thing to look for is the date stamp or the stamps on an Hermes piece. These are slightly different because this is an older fake bag, so any bag produced from Hermes before 2015, the stamps are on the inside of the sangles. However, after 2015, the stamps are found on the inside of the bag. However, it is a very important thing to look for because the stamps are different per year. So sometimes we've had fake bags come in that are claiming to be bags from this year or brand new bags. However, the date stamp doesn't align with the year that they've claimed the bag is from. In addition, every single genuine Hermes Birkin has a significant stamping on the inside of the bag, which contains information about the year it was produced, the model, the colour, and also the artisan himself who made that exact bag. And these are all things that are very important when authenticating a Birkin. So, I hope that you've enjoyed talking through all of these human elements that we look for when authenticating a Birkin. However, here at Big Easter, we don't just rely on human authenticating alone. We have an entirely second stage of the authentication process where we rely on AI technology and microscopic technology. So we use a system where we take photos and analyze every single element of each bag using microscope technology, and this is then put through AI, which is able to compare each image through a database of millions of images of genuine Hermes products. We as humans simply don't have the capacity or skills to analyze these things on such a micro.
I think the leather for the fake one is a little bit too thick for the chains, but this could be just my bad luck. Maybe if you ordered one, yours would be better. I'm not entirely sure about their quality control, but I mean, this is a fraction of the price. Yeah. In terms of shininess, I actually feel the fake one has more gloss than the real one. But this would be in part because I've been applying really copious amounts of this Cadillac premium leather lotion to the fake one, because the chains were, they were terrible for this. They were so much worse than this. After 3 rounds of oiling, they became a lot better. And I can now carry this out because without the oiling, it was not possible to use this fake one. You would just keep squeaking the whole day. I heard some of the real ones can have that issue as well, but I mean, if a real bag had that issue, I would definitely not buy it. Yeah. In terms of weight, they're pretty similar. In fact, I would say the fake one is slightly heavier. In terms of stitching, they're really very similar. Even now looking at them close up, I don't really see a difference in quality of stitching. They both look great. In terms of the ending on the chain, I actually prefer the fake one because I think it was more securely fastened. Yeah, there was additional stitching to kind of hold it in place. See, I always have a problem finding the end on the fake bag, whereas for the real one, it's actually pretty obvious. Alright, found it. Yeah, it's actually stitched in. I don't know if you can see it now, but yeah, the fake one, it's actually really well done. However, I've heard all the real bags come like this, so it could be a bit of giveaway if the leather for the chain is too well done. Okay. Other than that, the strap length, I'm going to lift this up now, and this one. As you can see, the real one is just marginally shorter, but I mean, really, how would anyone measure that on you? It's not like you're carrying both bags at the same time. So for those who are budget conscious, I would definitely not recommend, but you could consider getting a fake one. However, I have to say that whenever I carry this out, I am a bit self-conscious, and I don't bring this to big occasions where with people that I know carry a lot of luxury bags, because I'm afraid they'll spot it, even though it really is an excellent fake. As I said, the biggest giveaway, side view profile. So don't let your friends see your bag from the side view if that's possible. But considering this is 400 and this is like, I don't know, 10 times the price now, I'm not even sure anymore. It's kind of ridiculous, because clearly it doesn't take that kind of cost to produce the quality, because honestly the quality difference is really non-existent. There are differences, but are they a quality issue? I'm not entirely sure. I'm not entirely convinced about that. So Chanel, I mean, your prices have now hit what I would say is insane, absurd levels, and I think this will be my last Chanel bag from the store. So if you have any more questions about the real versus the fake, do leave a message, and please like and follow my channel. Is that how it goes? I'm not entirely sure. I need to check that. Thank you!
I didn't even know it came in a mini version, so when they reached out to me, I was kind of like, oh, I wonder what it's gonna look like. And overall, it looks so cute and so mini and perfect for everyday wear. I'm not a big fan of the big ones, the bigger tote bags, just because it's a little bulky and it is like stiff, so they're not as flexible. But overall, you can see the quality of the bag is just so on point. And if you look closer up, the logo, definitely can't tell a difference. On the inside, it comes with the Dior envelope with the book, the card, and then I believe the tag, and they just have that for, it's just for show, I guess. So inside the tote, this is what it looks like. Super cute. And I would say I can fit like a lot of stuff in there, so you just have to kind of prop it open. I can fit definitely like a wallet, my camera, even like a tripod, and a whole bunch of like makeup accessories. And it's so cute. Definitely everyday wear, very chic. Sorry if I'm butchering it, but that's the brand name. And it comes with like this little necklace. It comes with every purchase, which is cute. And overall, I want to say the quality, well, I've never actually held the real one in my hand before, so I would say it's a good like 8 to 10 just because it is a little stiff. I'm guessing it's supposed to be stiff in the beginning, so this is definitely a good 8 out of 10. Design wise, I would say it's not bad. There are a little like, if you look close up, there are little like things that you can notice, but from far away you can't even notice. And design wise, perfect. So if you want to go check them out, you can definitely use my discount code below. I'll put it in the description. I'll put how you can order it online. You definitely won't like regret getting this. You could tell by like the stitching, it's like super like on point. Nothing, no loose threads, no scratches, no out of the ordinary. I want to say that I don't think that it would get damaged easily. It is pretty sturdy and very boxy, which is great. I mean, you could bring this for traveling, and even if like it gets hit against something, it wouldn't break. So good travel proof.